Imagine your life with a disability. How would your daily routine change if you suddenly couldn't walk or see with perfect vision? For most of us, such changes would be unimaginable. But for the students we meet tonight, it's the only life they've known. Welcome to Campus Edge. I'm your host Patricia. Students from Congo, Rwanda and Burundi, bonjour na pia wanafunzi wa Kenya na wa Tanzania, hii ni show yenu. This week we meet three incredible students who are united by only one thing, the experience of living with disability. Next, we meet Simon, a third-year law student living with albinism. Unlike Brighton and Tony, Simon has suffered social discrimination and isolation because of his skin color. As a child, he often felt excluded and was mocked by his community. He too shared his story.
People used to come, I used to be like a tourist attraction. People used to come and look at you, children, all ages, and they will make all sorts of comments, laughter and everything. So they were very many challenges. Even at school, it wasn't the easy one.
At what age did you realize you were different from other children?
As young as 5 to 4 years, I started realizing that I was a little bit different from others because I used to play around with them, that I see them having different skins. I also have a different one. So I started questioning and realizing that I was different from them.
I then joined Simon for lunch where he continued to talk about the future, his struggles, and the challenges he faces.
Have you ever felt like giving up on your life?
Yeah, especially when things are tough and everything. Yeah, many a time I've tried to do that, but then there's something that often keeps me going, that I have something in the future, there's something I can still do.
Okay, so what is your motivation? What is that something that keeps you moving?
My motivation is always when I do something and succeed in it, I feel more motivated and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, when I do and excel, then I feel more motivated.
Simon appealed to students to accept him as he is to enable him live a fulfilled life. He also thanked government and Makerere University for the support they offer students with such disability.
I would love just to encourage my fellow students just to be accommodative. Allow me be fit in society, accept me the way I am, because not like I didn't apply for this. So in other words, let them be together with me. Whether it's discussions, yeah, let's discuss, meal time, let's be together. I just feel that teamwork, unity, and that level of acceptance makes me feel happy and everything. So if they can do that and everything, and just consider, let them just consider, it's just a skin difference, but we are the same. When they do that, I'll be very happy.
Apart from studying, Simon is an athlete and hopes to one day compete in the Olympics.
I'll again represent the university and the country in Congo, Brazzaville, for persons with disability for all Africa Games. And so if I manage to qualify from there, then we can go for Paralympics and then definitely Olympics.
Every year, Makerere University admits students with different kinds of impairments and disability. We talked to the Dean of Students to find out what kind of support and services are available for such students.
First of all, I am happy to tell you that we have a disability policy, and this policy looks at the whole range of activities and services that are accorded to our students. I must admit, first of all, that it is still a new policy, and some of the areas in the policy have not been implemented. And broadly speaking, we are talking about people with the hearing impairment, people who have got difficulties with speech, people have got difficulties with the movement, and those are normally the people that are known as physically handicapped, and they are the people who are worst affected by our terrain here. We are talking about people with emotional and sometimes behavioral disorder, people who are epileptic, sickle cellers, people who have got hunchbacks, and others who have got either spinal injuries and so on. As you know, Makerere is on a hill area, and the movement is difficult. Secondly, most of our buildings are old buildings which were built in the 60s, long before the awareness about disability and the rights of people with disabilities were well articulated in our regulatory systems. And so you'll find that some of our roads, some of the buildings did not have structures fitted well for disability issues, particularly movement. And so the policy now makes it an undertaking for the university to make good for some of the things that were not there, or what they call adaptation, to ensure that buildings are adapted where possible, so that you can create ramps, you can get some walkthroughs around the buildings where people with physical disability can access the buildings. But the policy also provided that for every new building that is coming up, like the ones you see coming up, they are supposed to be provided with the ramps and the lifts which can help students to access the buildings, and also to have provision for sanitation, adopted sanitation areas like washrooms and toilets. And that is an undertaking in this policy. There are some provisions which we give to the students, and they are mainly in terms of financial assistance. To the physically handicapped, we provide for helpers. People can help them to move around, considering especially that the place is here. For example, coming from halls of residence, going to lecture rooms, or even sometimes coming from some of the hostels, coming to the lecture rooms, to the library, and so on. And these helpers are paid. They are paid a stipend of money, and it is paid every month. In addition to that, for government-sponsored students, we provide accommodation for their helpers, but we also feed them. The university meets the cost of feeding them. For students who are deaf, we employ interpreters for them, and they are also paid some allowance. The students with disabilities are encouraged to identify some of the items they need, and the university gives them some allowances to buy those things, like braille paper, like specialized shoes, like the walking sticks. They are called cane sticks. So the university gives them, I don't have the figures here, but the university gives them some allowances to use to buy those items. There are halls which are not very easily accessible, and so we identified, for ladies, we identified Mary Stewart. That's where we encourage most of our students to go, the female students. And for the boys, we encourage them to go to Mitchell Hall, because that is where they have more adapted facilities, and it is easier to access. So that's where we put them. There are also issues of admission, because we have a committee which is responsible for identifying the different aspects of disability, because you know there is a scheme for admission for disability. Now the identification of these disabilities helps us to categorize them and also determine what kind of allowances we can give them, and also what kind of assistance can be given to them.
This is Campus Edge. Like us, follow us, stalk us. We love the attention.
Hey, Campus Edge.
I love.
Yeah, I love Campus Edge. Yeah, I love
Campus Edge.
Campus Edge. Campus Edge. I love Campus Edge so much.
I love watching Campus Edge.
Watch Campus Edge and win free airtime. Here is your access code. Only the yellow numbers are correct. That code again after the break.